Greetings all, this is Gerald Clark with you on Monday morning, and today I wanted to share with you a little something I've been working on related to Odyssey Ski. And in that screenplay there's a scene, an act and scene where the Igigi miners are working underground, and suddenly after a very long period they start experiencing earth changes while they're mining. And part of that had to do with the passage of Nibiru, since they were underneath and working according to the Atrahasis for an entire shar, which is 3,600 years, which is the time frame that, according to the records, that's what it takes for their planet to come back around. So in that sense, one of the scenes has the miners looking out at debris falling and earthquakes happening and volcanoes shooting off, and I wanted to start experimenting with creating that scene, and a lot of it had to do with replicating physics and the gravity and the mass and the velocity of objects as they interact with each other to make it look realistic. It's actually not easy to do. So what I've been experimenting with is using the physics engine in iClone and just simply setting up objects of one mass, like these boulders that were stacked on top of the round hills, and we're given a little vibration of the earth, or whatever, they start coming down. I have to say though that they don't do that in the simulation, because when I put them very close together up on top of the hill, I can put them in any arrangement I want. But if they're close enough to each other where their bounding constraints are pushing against each other, it causes what looks like an explosion, what you see there. There's no explosion, okay? It's just the repulsion force of the bounding constraints on each of the spherical objects that was made to look like a rock. So it's tossing the cars around pretty good, like they're toys. And that's probably not completely realistic. What I did is I set the mass of the rocks to be quite a bit higher than the mass of the cars, and didn't put a lot of friction on them, let them bounce around, things like that. And then later in the simulation, I realized, yeah, all these round rocks the same size, it's great, and they do the most destruction, and they're really fantastic. But rocks usually aren't round, they have damping forces, they don't bounce on the ground. So later in the simulation I started being a little more realistic and started playing with some other rocks that didn't so much roll down the hill, I just kind of dropped them from the sky. I think that starts right toward the end. But that, in that one, you could simulate that it was either an earthquake, landslide, or debris from Nibiru coming in and striking the earth, and what that might look like. So I wanted to give a plug to iClone here, and this was really fantastic in that I set up all the old cars, just arranged them, threw a terrain model down, and created one spherical ball or rock, and then added what I wanted to it in terms of its bounding constraint, its mass, the friction, all that. And then I replicated them, and then just turned the physics engine on and did nothing else. So all of the impacts, the sliding, the collisions, all of this is done with gravity, using the force of the rocks flying down, and the cars that are set with their gravity or their physics engine on, but they're frozen until something strikes them. So and there's a lot of striking going on, as you can see. Anyway, I was thinking it might be fun if I were to pick one of the cars with a license plate number on it, and somebody were to say, yeah, I saw that one in this frame, and then we'd win a prize or something like that. But maybe next time. I'm not sure these ones even have legible license plates, but we might do something fun like that the next time. So this has been Gerald Clark with 7 Planet Broadcasting, thinking a little bit about creating a scene for Odyssey Ski, and this physics engine is very much of a part of it. I hope you enjoyed watching.